What's going on, guys? I'm Tommy, and I'm coming at you with an action figure review. Today I'm going to be reviewing Hasbro The Black Series Imperial Royal Guard Halloween Edition. I'm a huge fan of all of the seasonal figures that come out in the Black Series line. Currently, I own every single Christmas/holiday winter season figure that they've released, and as far as the Halloween ones go, I was really excited when this got revealed alongside two others for the now ever-expanding Halloween Edition collection. And I actually found this figure. This is a figure that wasn't even up for pre-order yet for the Target exclusive here in the United States. I got this figure in store at my local Target. It was the only one swinging on the peg, and I was able to purchase it. I was so excited about it. This guy is really cool because he glows in the dark, and I'm definitely going to show that before the end of the review. And I think that it's really fun that Hasbro is getting really creative with these little seasonal figures. So, taking a look at the packaging here, we have the standard style of packaging for the Black Series. However, obviously, this one's going to differ a little bit in the visual look. So up at the top here, you have your Black Series logo, your big plastic window showing you the figure and his accessories, as well as his little companion there. On the side here in vertical text, you have the name of the character, as well as that he is the Halloween edition. And on the back, as opposed to just a kind of drab color, we have a little bit of a pattern here with some little ghost Jabbas, some spiders, other things like that. Down below the window, you have an orange banner, as well as some of your logos and legalese. On this side of the box, where we would usually have our mural art for our character, we have a nice little hologram image from about the chest up, like a bust of the character. You can see he's actually glowing in the dark in this image. And then down here, we have the name of the character with our little silhouette of the Bogling here. And then on the back of the box, we have a lot of the same stuff we saw on the other sides of the box. You have your little hanger tab, you have your Black Series logo, that same hologram image, the name of the character, and a bio in about 1,000 different languages. This bio reads, "Celebrate the season with specially designed Star Wars figures from the Black Series." Down here we have all our legalese. Guys, please don't feed this action figure to your babies. On this side of the box, you can see some more of that patterning I talked about on the front there, some more of that wraparound window and that orange banner with your Black Series logo. On the bottom of the box, even more legalese, and on the top, nothing. That about wraps it up for the packaging on this guy, so why don't we get him opened and we'll check him out. Alright guys, here's our Royal Guard out of the box, and of course before we take a look at the figure, we're going to take a look at his included accessories. So the first couple that I want to go over here are just standard accessories you get with any release of an Imperial Royal Guard in the Black Series. I can't tell if these are done in the glow-in-the-dark plastic. I want to say the blaster pistol is, but as far as the kind of melee weapon, the little staff he has, I will find out, I guess, before the end of the review. However, it is just the standard sculpt for the staff that these guys come with. Nothing, no paint, no anything extra like that. Again, we have to lean into the glow-in-the-dark effect on these guys. And then, of course, you get the little biker scout style blaster pistol here. Just again, basic. It's in the same color of plastic as everything else is for the glow-in-the-dark effect. And the sculpted detail. If you have this blaster with any previous release, you kind of know what you're getting into. There's nothing special about this other than it looks good. And then a theme that they've had with, I think, every single holiday figure that's come out between the Christmas ones and the Halloween ones is that they come with a little companion, a little creature. So in this case, you get a Bogling that is made to look like, I want to say, a zombie. This is not, I don't think this is Frankenstein so much as it is a zombie, and what's telling me that is these red eyes here. This also could be like a gremlin, now that I'm thinking about it. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you could interpret this, but I like the red eyes. You can see his little mane and his little vampire teeth are painted, which is funny, and he's painted to look like he has little shorts on too. Everything else is done in this nice, kind of like really forest green plastic. I really like the way that this looks, and it's a fun little creature. I think these are great little additions to these seasonal figures. Alright everyone, now let's take a look at our Royal Guard here. So you'll see he's done in the glow-in-the-dark plastic, and that's really all I have to say. There literally is no paint detail on this action figure whatsoever, aside from this is supposed to be a skull that's painted on his face here. It kind of is hard to interpret just because the visor is painted black, and that's where usually the eyes of a skull would be, and I feel like that really helps to complete the identifiable look of a human skull. But they did include basically from the nose down, you have the top row of teeth here, and then you also have just your basic skull imprint there. It looks fine. I could have even done without it, to be honest, but for a ghost figure, I think it's still pretty fun. And now what's really interesting about this guy is this kind of almost like netted soft goods they have here. This is really fun. I like how translucent it is, and I like the way it's cut. You can see it's got lots of wrinkles and folds, so ideally when we're posing this guy around, we should be able to get this to drape over him even with his arms out and away from his body. I think this is really creative, and just little things like this can really elevate these holiday figures rather than just doing straight repaints of previously sculpted figures. As far as the actual sculpting on this guy goes, underneath, if you own any of the previous versions of the Shadow Guard or the Imperial Senate Guard or the Red Royal Guard, this is exactly what you're getting. It is the exact same sculpt. We've seen it so many times in the Black Series line. Now you have all of the battle armor that's sculpted over the little undersuit he wears. He's got his shin guards here. Everything is sculpted very nicely, and for an older sculpt, I think this one looks really cool and unique here. You also have the kind of rubbery overlay piece for the belt, which also has the holster on it, as you can see. But yeah, aside from that, if you own a Royal Guard in your Black Series collection, then you know exactly what you're getting into, and that will go for the articulation as well on this guy. So as far as articulation does go on this guy, if you don't own one of these figures yet, it's just going to be a very limited ball joint at the neck here, and that is just the sculpting of the kind of headdress these guys have on. That's nothing against Hasbro, it's just the design straight from Star Wars, so it's very limiting. You can maybe get some right and some left out of it, maybe some down, maybe some up, definitely not any tilt. It doesn't have much mobility whatsoever. Underneath the soft goods though, we have all kinds of movement here. So this was before the time of the butterfly joint, but you do have a hinge and swivel at the shoulder here. So you're gonna get a hinge that gets you up to about 90 degrees here, and a swivel which gets you a full 360 degrees. You have a deep cut single jointed elbow. That's going to get you to about the 90 degree mark there with a swivel at the top of that elbow joint. And then at the wrists, you have a hinge and swivel. So swivel at the right wrist with that vertical hinge, and then another vertical hinge with the swivel on the left wrist. You'll also notice that you have kind of a 2-finger trigger hand on that left hand there, and then the right hand has kind of like a pointing hand motion. At the midsection here, you're going to have a ball joint kind of midway up the torso. That's going to have some decent range to it, a little bit limited, but nothing too limiting. Then at the hips here, you do have a ball joint, which gets you plenty of extra range. You have a cut for a thigh swivel, which is going to offer some extra added range there. Pinned double jointed knees. Usually I'm a hater of these, but for something fun like holiday figures, I really don't see the need to make new tooling for these. And you can see you can get plenty of range out of that, more so than your single jointed knees do, where those usually get to about 90. And then of course down here at the ankles, we have that forward facing pin for rocker, and we have a hinge which gets you almost no forward at all, but plenty of back here. So for this being an older figure, it's definitely serviceable with a lot of this older articulation. And again, when it comes to these holiday figures, these are a novelty. These are something I pull out just for a couple months of the year, so I don't need a ton of new tooling or the latest and greatest tech on Black Series when it comes to these. And when it comes to our accessories, we'll start with our blaster pistol. Now, a lot of Imperial troopers have like a cross-draw thing going on where the holster is on the opposite side of their shooting arm. This is actually a military thing in real life, if you didn't know. The blaster pistol fits really nicely. You can see the top 2 fingers fit into the trigger guard area there as they're supposed to, and this is just a little pea shooter here, so you can get him to hold this still, and as you can see, the soft goods do lay pretty nicely, so he can hold this in a shooting pose very easily. And so you can have maybe your ghost figure shooting if that's how you want to pose him. The blaster, however, does also fit very nicely into the holster here. You can see the barrel of the blaster will kind of stick out, and then of course it does pass the shake test, but definitely be careful with it because I've had experiences where these get knocked out of the holsters, and because they're so small, they do have a tendency to get eaten by the carpet monster, so just be wary. The staff here, the melee weapon, does also work pretty nicely, so if you want that iconic pose, there's a reason that he has kind of the pointing hand on that right hand here. What you'll do is you'll just stick the melee weapon kind of upside down from how you'd usually do it, and it gives it a very nice illusion so that you can very easily get that iconic Red Royal Guard pose with that melee weapon. Very well thought out. He can also hold it, obviously, like a normal sword or melee weapon here, and that is a nice firm grip, so you get past the shake test with that. And holding it in two hands here, if that's what you want to do, is also very easy to do. You can see you can get this into two hands with no problem whatsoever. So why don't we just check out the glow-in-the-dark feature here? I'm really excited to see how that works. So obviously I'm not sure how well this is going to show up on camera, but in the room here I have all my lights off, and this is showing up so well. It is a very bright glow-in-the-dark feature, and yes, the staff itself and the blaster do also glow in the dark. That is so much fun. I really like on this guy how these soft goods are made so that the arms will hide underneath the soft goods, and it gives you a nice, very stereotypical ghost effect here. I love that. You can even get this guy into a nice one-legged running pose with those soft goods, and it's just such a fun novelty figure. I really like this release. But with that, guys, it's gonna about wrap it up for this fun little quick review. This is definitely a figure worth picking up. Even if you're not super into the Halloween figures, I feel like this one having the glow-in-the-dark gimmick, it's such a fun, classic Halloween trope, and I really think this is a fun novelty toy. This is definitely going to be front and center on my Halloween display when I bust these figures out in a few weeks here for Halloween season. But with that, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did and you're not yet subscribed, subscribe to Blitz Transmissions. I've got awesome Star Wars content coming out all the time. If you're an ARC Trooper in my Patreon, you would have seen this review early if you'd like access to early content, monthly giveaways, and other awesome benefits. The link to my Patreon is in the description below, and become an ARC Trooper for just $4.99 a month. If you're a fan of the reviews I do here on YouTube, or you just want to support the YouTube channel more directly, you can also join my YouTube channel membership, Rancor Battalion. For just 99 cents a month, it gives you access to all my reviews early, as opposed to all my content like you get with the Patreon. You get exclusive badges, priority replies in my comment section, and like the Patreon members do, you get to vote on what I review next for the channel. If you'd like some Blitz Transmissions swag, you can head over to the Blitz Transmissions Armory over on Printify. Link to that is in the description below, as well as links to my Discord and all my social media. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. I'll catch you for the next one, and may the Force be with you.
Breaking off. All units, fire at will. 1-2, pick a target. Too many, Captain. Watch your stabilizer, Gold 6. Anybody cover me. I got 2 vultures on my tail. Gotta hold them here. Watch your left. I can't shake them. I'm hit. Where's our reinforcements?